Did you two run into any trouble over the past few days?
No, we just worked our shifts according to the schedule.
That's good. That means you didn't raise any suspicions when you... We've taken a look at the slip you've sent. Fremine successfully left the grounds via the pipes 2 days ago. And as of last night, Lynette has also infiltrated the infirmary after faking an illness.
Wait, why is she getting involved in—
You already went above and beyond when you scoped out the infirmary. To put it more bluntly, even if we were to view that as something you did in exchange for Fremine's help, you've already done more than enough. Infiltrating a guarded stronghold is a different kind of job from a one-off investigation. We want to avoid using the same faces over and over and reduce the amount of suspicion that will fall on any— Lynette also felt like you have already taken the first step for us, so she should be the one to finish the job.
So that's what Lynette thinks.
Perhaps you've mentioned before that you've had some run-ins with the Fatui. I can understand that feeling, so
Well, everyone could use some more friends. We'll be counting on you to help us in the future, too.
Since I see you as friends, then it's even more important for us to protect you from any peril. Fremine and Lynette, glad to hear it. Then, let's go—
Is now really a good time to go over?
According to my observations. Also, I'm her brother,
Okay, then let's head—
Lynette should be here, right? Strange.
As expected, Sijwin isn't here, but why—
No, Lynette rarely deviates from— unless—
Let's see if there are any—
Okay.
Scry the sky. There are some books— Advanced— These sure are some interesting books. She even has book—
None of the beds have any signs of having been slept in.
That's the one Lynette must have used, right? You said she was
She would have said her migraine was having a particularly bad flare-up. Generally speaking, the head nurse would then ask her to lie down and rest while she left to retrieve the medication. Which means either the head nurse didn't— Wait, this thing? The space behind it is empty. Could Lynette have tried to get inside? Let's look around here for some more clues.
Hey, you guys, there's a slip of paper!
A slip of paper?
It's right over here! And there's a bunch written on it, too. It reads, "Out of respect for your usual practices, I'll use a piece of paper."
This is...
Is that all? The back!
Show me! Now!
That look on your— Would you care to guess where— No! Could she—
Wriothesley. Did he...
Wait, you mean he was aware of our goals from the very beginning? But why?
Yes, that is a crucial question. Wriothesley, he doesn't do anything without a clear goal or reason. So you're not from the same camp as us. You were sent down here by Nervulet, so you have no conflict of interest with Wriothesley. We're a completely different story, though. I'd like to know that, too. Don't panic, just think everything... Wait, you're right. The fact that Fremine was able...
What does he gain by letting...
So he's... If Wriothesley let him leave on purpose, then he's...
Lenny's getting more and more panicked. Don't be like this, Lenny!
No, I'm the leader of this operation.
Hey, don't be reckless! Traveler, please...
I simply cannot allow Lynette to be... I have to go.
I feel like we still have some room to make changes on these details.
It's not impossible, but it'll require extensive...
Is that so?
Is someone?
Pack everything up. Whoever's outside is eavesdropping. They'll probably... Someone! Please help! He's sick!
Whoa, are you okay?
These two. What a delightful turn of events. I like smart people, but I also like playing dumb. I like the feeling of being trusted. Oh my! What's wrong, little one? There's... Being able to read human expressions is quite the useful skill. Wait! Wait! It's no use. We have to catch up to him. He's already out of sight! How is he so fast? Let's go head him off at Risley's office!
Come out and face me, Risley!
Aren't we at an administrative office space? Why don't you at least try to follow even a couple rules from the fortress's indoor management regulation?
What did you do to my sister?
I ran into the young miss at the infirmary. I'd heard that she was suffering from quite the migraine, so I decided to invite her over for a cup of tea. I do have some teas in my collection that can work wonders against such an illness.
Stop joking around! Where did you take my sibling?
I have also heard that your performances are quite the spectacle. Miss Lynette would sometimes enter a box filled with water, only to emerge the next second from another place. Maybe she'll appear behind you right now if you were to turn your...
Is he trying to trick me into turning my head? No, he's probably not looking. You knew we were investigating the infirmary from the start, so you deliberately aroused... As for Fremine, no, you probably didn't even interfere with Child's escape. You let him go, so you could purge the Fatui members.
There was no need to do so. The fortress of Meripede is a pretty pleasant place. Most people enjoy their lives here. The only ones who act differently are those with personal agendas. It was quite easy to identify your colleagues.
You removed our original members and spread the news of Child's escape so Father would assign our team to come down and investigate. Fremine has also fallen into your hands, right? If you're oh so omnipotent and so in control—
One correction. Lynette is in my hands right now, but Fremine is not.
He's not.
Lenny!
Oh, wonderful. Everyone is here, so I'll only need to say this once. Thank you so much for cooperating with me. Eager and to the point, I see. Alas, only Miss Lynette is currently having a cup of the fortress's finest tea. Although, as per your original plan, Mr. Fremine should also have returned to the fortress by now. But he has neither shown up within my gates, nor has he been taken into any kind of custody. So, where do you think—
Wait, you locked him outside?
I closed the fortress's gate to the outside world.
Fremine's a star diver, so he
No, we're still here, so he definitely tried to find a way to come back for us. So we can't assume he might have made a break for—
But why would I do this, you may be asking? To have an audience with you, of course. My intel tells me that Mr. Linney is a great magician, so it's only natural for me to want to have some cards of my own when it comes to negotiating. Besides, I do recall you mentioning to Miss Lynette that you've always wanted to have a face-to-face meeting with the Lord of the Fortress of Meripede, regardless of whether it was in a personal or a professional capacity.
So, you've been keeping tabs on us before we even set foot in the fortress.
Some of my folks just happened to hear a thing or two, that's all. I was willing to play dumb and turn a blind eye, so we had a pleasant few days playing games together here. But once you started focusing on the Forbidden Zone, Mr. Linney, the cards are stacked against you right now. Miss Lynette is in my hands, and Mr. Fremine is still slowly being pickled out there in the brine. You know just as well as I that he cannot last out there forever. You need do but one thing to guarantee their safety. I would like you to contact your superior, and ideally invite her over for a cup of tea with me.
You want to see Father?
Well, if she cares for the well-being of her dearest children, she should have... I've heard that the bonds between the members of the House of the Hearth are like the bonds...
Why did you think Father sent us to handle the Fortress of Meripede? This place is basically a no man's land. It wouldn't be fitting for anyone as important as a Harbinger.
Oh, I see. So it's because she doesn't care for my place here. That's such a shame. After all, I've amassed quite the tea collection. I was looking forward to sharing it with her. Both Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina have already received many samples as gifts.
Was this the extent of your master plan to...
You people really are difficult to get along with. All I'm asking for is a face-to-face conversation. Does she truly have no... Mr. Linney, you have one...
Linny!
Instead of asking why I'm doing this, why don't you try to see... I gave you a warning by cutting off the first few operatives I found, but that only caused you to double down. Had you given up on the fortress then and there, I'd have no reason to want to talk. Mr. Fremenet left the fortress on his own, and Miss Lynette tried to pry out my secrets right in front of me. No matter how you look at it, the responsibility for this falls on you.
I shouldn't ask Father to do anything because of us.
6.
Wait,
2. Time's up.
Risley!
Negotiations have broken down.
Yeah, listen to the...
You do realize that, but that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. Then how about this? Those who are capable deserve respect. You've spent quite some time investigating my home turf by now, so why don't you tell... I'll ask you 3 questions. Question 1.
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. But what could Sijuin be doing during that time? The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons. Meanwhile, the Duke believes that only idiots who don't understand the value of coupons will spend them on Fanta. We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. It seems like she can perceive the general state of a person's health just by... Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial. The research notes said that the Melazine race perceives the world very differently from humans. As a result, the Melazines have also developed a sense of aesthetics that appears rather... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fanta company sponsored it. The company must want to return on their... The research notes said that the... We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work. The Fanta promoter has been struggling. Fanta's internal report suggests... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament... Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. But the product has to undergo a trial because even Fanta's own employees have a lot of reservations about it. We often see Miss Sijuin observing... The Fanta promoter has been struggling According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place... Fanta's internal reports... The Fanta promoter has been... We often see Miss Sijuin According to Collins, the Pancration tournament... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty.
So that's what's going on. The hidden rule of the production zone. At first we thought that she often visits the out of her sense of duty as the head nurse, as well as her genuine concern for the Sijuin has only the best in... Unfortunately, Melazines as a race perceive the world differently from humans, and they're the recipients of her lovingly prepared special meals cannot taste the care within and usually just freak out. Are we on the right track?
Not bad. You've uncovered Sijuin's secret and even guessed her intentions correctly as well. It's nice to know that her efforts have not gone unacknowledged. All right, now for my next question. There are also some hidden rules in the Pancration Ring, including the one that you're not allowed to support both sides of a fight. What?
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the... Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the Fanta promoter has been struggling because the research notes said that the Melazine race perceives the world very differently from humans. According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fanta company sponsored it. The company must want a return on their investment as well. Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting... We often see Miss The Fanta promoter has been... I've been told that the infirmary is... The research notes said that the Melazine... According to Collins, the Pancration... We often see Miss Sijuin. I've been told that the infirmary... The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the research notes said that the Melazine... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the... Fanta's internal report suggests... I've been told that the infirmary is always... We often see Miss The research notes said that the Melazine According to Collins, I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the Fanta's internal report suggests... The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize... The research notes said that the Melazine... The Fanta promoter has been struggling...
Rule 2, that hidden rule of the Pancration Ring is about how, people are not supposed to bet on both boxers at the same time. And if they do, they'll receive a package containing a strange, blood-colored liquid. People get scared when they see it because they've subconsciously begun to associate it with the missing boxer. But really, it's just a bottle of the latest yet-to-be-named and packaged new Fanta trial product. A blood-red drink. It's no wonder even Fanta's own staff were questioning the company's decision. The company, facing backlash from its own staff, decided to try to trial the product on a smaller scale. To see how it might be received by customers, they came to the fortress of Meropide and offered to sponsor the Pancration tournament so they could push their new product. But the Duke, knowing how valuable coupons are in the fortress, knew that only total idiots who didn't understand their true value would bother buying a Fanta product. And so, only those who proved their stupidity by being dumb enough to bet on two opposing sides of the same match were selected to receive the drinks.
I acknowledge the effort you've put into bringing the truth of this myth. Although, based on your description, that Fanta promoter is a bit too careless with his words. I may just reconsider my collaboration with the company. All right, and here's the final question. What's the secret behind our head nurse and all of her patients in the infirmary?
Stop your cruel and pointless games, Risley! You know that we haven't finished our investigation, so there's no way we can answer the last question. The thought of sparing Lynette and Fremine never even crossed your mind! You'll pay for this! Ah!
Lenny, are you alright?
Oh, close one. I owe you, Sijuin.
It was nothing, Your Grace. Sijuin? Though this gun may look like a toy, it's actually fully functional, as I just demonstrated.
Lane... You...
Not at all. I am merely a resident of... When Monsieur Nervulette asked me to come here, he told me that my job would be to take care of the well-being... But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Linny someone you should be looking after as well? But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervulette told me to do. Everything I did, I've done to protect them. His Grace knows it too, right?
My dear Sigewinne, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just wait another minute or two?
Well, it's nearly time after all. The way you do things can be truly fresh.
What are you talking about?
Take me if you want.
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that.
All right, everyone, calm down. 2 more visitors will be arriving, and I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sigewinne, I leave.
You.
I believe I hear.
Some space, please.
Ah, Miss Claret.
Freminet.
What's going on? What is Clarin doing here?
Work.
I'm sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linney. The tranquilizing of.
What happened to Freminet? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like...
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must have consumed primordial seawater. Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr.
I'll talk to Clorand while you get Freminet to where...
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time on the way back.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sigewinne may have been forced to shoot Mr. Linney again. How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. The concentration of primordial seawater has increased significantly. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant...
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to...
Locking the door was necessary. I don't think we could have saved 2.
Well, I did try to convince him that I had my reasons. Never seems to work, though.
It would probably work on Neuvillette. He has a knack for picking out who had good intentions, even when the outcomes were all terrible.
It's a bad sign if you're having to plead your case to Neuvillette. Want some tea?
Not particularly. If you want to drink some that badly, just say so.
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a cup too, since I've already made it?
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel? I would like to dry my hair.
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount of primordials. Of course, it would be best if... sorry.
Why would he ingest...
Please, look after Mr. Freminet for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator.
Where is she?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. If my calculations are correct...
Linny, are you okay?
I'll be...
Are you sure?
My hands and feet are still a bit weak.
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Oh. Freminet?
He'll be fine. But
His breathing's beginning to slow down.
give me a hand and help me.
Yeah, I'll take him from this...
On it. Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him. Want to go...
The Duke and Clarand are gone.
They probably went to...
Could I tempt you with some sugar for your tea?
No need. No, my sword!
One with nature.
He's awake. Fremine.
We're all here.
The infirmary. How do you feel?
Traveler. The sea. There's something wrong with the seawater.
Shh, it's okay.
No, listen to me. This is really serious. Pipes. Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now. I'm in. Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time. Where could Master Child be? This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it? This is where the water starts. Master Child probably dived into the water. I'll go take a look as well. The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. I should be... Oh, there are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait, what? My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's going on? No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it. I can't die here. This is bad. I'm feeling worse and worse, and I'm still underwater. I have to push on.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have gone.
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and the fortress, and I just couldn't find the strength to keep going.
Miss Clarand brought you back, but we also don't know why she just suddenly appeared at the fortress, or why she went...
Miss Clarand, you say?
You're still too weak for Monet.
Miss Lynette is right.
A guest? Then I can...
You should ask His Grace about that.
Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on.
No, please go on without me.
Lenny.
The logical part of my...
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now.
Thank you.
Scry the sky.
Excuse me!
I take it Mr. Fremonet's condition has stabilized?
Of course! I wouldn't have left...
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Siegewin?
I wanted to check up on Miss Clarand.
Mostly fine.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform...
All right. Thank you for looking out for...
Well, want to explain yourself?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can...
Then Paimon will begin.
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for...
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even...
They came here with ulterior motives. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape. But in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his own. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do.
So you were hoping Linny's group would.
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremine has told you already the ratio of primordial seawater around the Fortress of Merip. The Forbidden Zone has always been Linny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running.
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former criminal?
Why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates.
Oh, right. Paimon wanted to ask, who invited Cloran down?
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the appendix.
And saving Fremine was part of.
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts. All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time?
You make a compelling case. Do you really?
Yeah, Paimon really.
Even if the truth may not be pleasant, follow me.
Door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Rise.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is. Stand on the central.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure... What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui...
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking of keeping anything...
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this.
So there's a switch on the...
Stand back.
Whoa! They all just went up one by...
Go on, have a look. I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that... The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position. Normally, I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking? Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress...
The concentration of... primordial sea...
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising. Yes, that's very likely.
But forget about the 2 of us! Not even Neuvillette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could... Oh.
seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea. If this continues, soon yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the primordial sea?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left to us by the people who used to live here. When the previous Hydro Archon, Egeria, ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, "You may go guard my secret, deep underneath the waves." And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps, and over the years helped it to grow. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became the sinner's only home. And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, they could no longer feel comfortable living in the Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian. Everyone else just thought he'd made it all up.
But now you know every part of that history.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate, to be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too accurate. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Let's go somewhere else. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last round of experiment.
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone.
Huh?
No need to panic, you two.
What? After you warned us not to
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure?
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard of Edwin?
He's the one who blew the whole institute sky high. Everyone knew he was a bit crooked in the head, but you're not local, so I guess it's possible for you not to have heard of him.
Edwin's main areas of research were archeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the fortress?
What a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my head.
Gotta admit, I'm tempted as well.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants. While Jurier used to be Edwin's assistant, she used to be Jurier's assistant.
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as a convenient cover?
Your Grace, I am not in a relationship with this man.
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
But Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
What a huge ship. This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before.
How much do you know about Fontaine? Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty. According to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the Fortuna, he created his nation above the surging waves. He called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands.
There's a ship in this story.
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of a voyage.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. Certainly can't hurt to give it a try. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontainians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster. Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call. All right, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Seems like you're good. I'll leave you here for...
Oh!
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what...
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Great.
Phew! Huh? Phew! We're back!
Welcome back.
How can you be so much like Risley, always drinking tea?
Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, I just remembered something. While I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me. They were discussing everything, from the leaves to the
Must have been Risley and Sijui.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so...
I really can't make sense.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations? Yeah, I took the...
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijui is also...
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3... Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory is, the long-lost primordial sea is probably...
Whoa!
That's our Lenny.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first. I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably... What's more, the Fortress of Meripede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. Risley is basically the king of a no-man's land. As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the 2 factions are pitted against each other, Risley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret of the infirmary, but I just can't think of what it could be.
You're super...
Thanks so much. If Risley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature. That can't be I don't have enough
Nasi...
Could Risley have wanted to meet Father to figure out If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis. But how could Risley have known that?
Or perhaps he didn't know, and just wanted to bring Father over to his side? Which could be why he said he just wanted to negotiate.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concern. The two of you have already aided us. If you ever need anything else, though you may not share this...
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Linny when it really mattered. And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us. We didn't think...
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Given your strength, you might not need our help at all.
Aww, the sound of... Paimon's hungry.
Oh,
Alright, then we'll catch you guys...
It's time for dinner. Welfare meals.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well!
Traveler and Paimon! Over here!
Are you here for dinner?
And I'm taking the opportunity.
Huh. You're right!
What would you like to eat? Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like.
Me too! Don't forget...
No problem.
So delicious. Is this how it feels to be freeloaders? Wait a second, we did do...
Feeling full yet?
How's delicious?
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the expression on your...
Sigewin, do you do this to help your patients?
A bit of both, I suppose. I'm a Melusine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take...
You're really good at taking care of...
Really? You're reminded of an older sister?
Oh, and what did you mean by...
Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit worried after hearing that something was wrong with the water. Thankfully, Glorand is very strong, although the path was blocked. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linny as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow him to...
You were all super considerate.
It's just... Get a good night's rest, you...
Claran! How's dinner?
It's all right. Missy...
So we heard that Risley invited you to come down to help.
Oh, it was...
Still, Paimon didn't know. Oh, and why aren't you...
Miss Sigewin was with you. And the Duke...
Actually, didn't Navia say that you went out for dinner with her?
Yeah,
First time in a long time. So you mean you've gone out...
in the past. You seem to be enjoying yourselves here. Things will be getting messy at the fortress soon.
much has happened. I'm super sleepy. Delicious.
Out of my way! Get what happened? Why? I had no idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking!
What happened? Why is everyone running around? Hey, what are you doing?
There's no time to explain, mate. Goodbye.
Hey, what? What's wrong with these people? They won't.
They're here! Yeah! There you are!
Oh, thank goodness!
We still in Lavaroon. Do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong. Lavaroon was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so...
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that? Hey! Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us. Yeah, he said to get us...
Oh no, it can't be that thing!
Whoa, wait, what? What, hey!
We have to go find the Duke! You two just go and get out! Go on without us!
Hey! Be careful!
Attention, please evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards. If you're already at the topmost layer, then try to move as far outwards as possible.
They're here.
Just like I said.
What happened?
You're just in time. But be ready to run. Three, 2, 1.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense. The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on us.
Neuvillette? Why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the Opera House immediately. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina, and make sure she doesn't spend too... Will do. You have...
you two the Traveler and Paimon? Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly...
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
Of course, of course! How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely and unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the Knave, one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers.
I've already prepared seats for you.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for tea. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores. There are only 6...
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste. I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about his safety.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really...
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child, against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. Coming from you...
but I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier, as you...
Well, in any case, there's no need...
Oh.
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Mir...
And where did he go after leaving?
Well?
The Fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhn.
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long...
Hold on.
I suppose this is also a sign of things.
Huh? I don't...
Have we entered into the next stage of the...
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day! This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
All right. Seems like the problem.
Let me guess. We're safe for...
Indeed. But only for...
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed just as you...
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the court...
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal code.
That was obviously... Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld, correct?
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly.
I must say, we've spent long enough playing Miss Farina. As the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable? The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving their homeland. But you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures!
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high!
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on?
my machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying mortal eyes. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency...
Oh, that look in your eyes.
The emergency response...
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Farina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Nouvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Farina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take care of some troublesome business.
Yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a secret for me.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left. Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? You too, Paimon.
Thank you, Paimon. Oh, Paimon's super...
If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest...
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Farina's table. And I was merely catering to Miss Farina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day?
Very well.
Mind seeing me off, Traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before...
Paimon's coming...
The teapot... Why are you looking at me like that? Is something the matter? If there's nothing urgent, then I shall be retiring for now.
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, Child was just an excuse.
That's what Paimon thought.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude. Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? The House of the Hearth is very important to me. That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. They've
all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, But what's your impression of Farina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the...
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has... Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone
Do you require help with any preparation?
No need. I need to meet with Farina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating...
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you! You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Farina. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But... It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not... In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Who are you? And what are you trying...
The fear in her pupils is genuine. So perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, target... I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Farina dares not mention this incident. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Farina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro... I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is...
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the fortress of Meripede. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we...
Probably the handiwork of that Wriothesley.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet... Oh, and I have an...
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it. The initiative belongs to the... You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from...
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Farina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon. I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex... Of course, that is all just how I feel. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god of the land of my birth. Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet... Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday. He certainly returned quickly.
Neuvillette?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Farina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the Primordial Sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Farina. She's trying to feel her out. though I'm still unsure as to her permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real... You can't tell us? Then...
If by the phrase, you guys, you are referring to Furina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us.
Huh? Why is it raining all of a sudden?
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking? The dragon of... Huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Furina? Ah, my apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually...
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Right, of course. There's still some...
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater...
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
There are 7 elemental Archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, so even you can...
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office.
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the Fortress of We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Time to go. Into the wind.
What? You guys are back?
You guys...
And here...
all right.
Hey, it wasn't just...
I was also Whenever he'd say that,
Hey, there's...
These two. They sure are a lot more.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be...
Traveler, are you still doing all right?
We're fine.
A few people of course. How did Nerva... Miss Sure Roulette has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water... I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time about how you just ran down without a word. If you're not too... Just let me know if you... I'd like to take...
Outlines your...
Now guess.
Well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Looks like you're recovering nice.
Thanks to... Oh, right.
Whoa, how did...
She didn't want to stress you out. That's...
Yeah.
Okay, but check...
You meant father?
She said a few things that were...
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. You should believe her. She has her...
Father's very...
Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Lenny was a bit too proud as well. She said that...
God...
That does sound...
Hey!
Are you going to stay?
Looks like it, yeah.
Excellent.
For real? Then Paimon wants another...
Another implies that you were already... Well, next time. Jurier?
Yeah,
That's no excuse for... Huh?
Junior, Lurvine,
Hello there. It's been quite the mess.
and you.
Yep. That is...
It can be a
I mean, the
Oh, yeah?
You two really are just
Not at all!
Do my eyes...
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing.
We're fine, for the most part. Neuvillette came down and took care of the worst of it.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay?
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the Courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere. He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to take Miss Sigewinne's gift with him, though.
He sure sounds...
Miss Clorand has left as well. She also...
Were the gifts milkshake?
Neuvillette got the milkshake. Clorand received lipstick.
Those are...
Well, it's Nervillette's own fault for making Sigewinne worried about his health. Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Are these from Sigewinne?
Nope, they're from yours. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress.
For real? Then we could stay here?
You may access the cafe. Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time.
No, my sword!
Go!
Huh?
Phew! Go! We're back in our cell again. We're no longer Sure feels... Huh? How did you know? Hey, it's like... There are so many bad things in the world. You're counting Paimon today? Then let's ask Cat... the last time we should be safe now. Alright then. Good night to you, Traveler.
happened?
It's been a while since we last saw Neverland. Paimon wonders what he's been up to. Paimon has so many questions about his true identity. Let's go talk to him and find out.